There we go. I'm not going to move the mic. I'm going to keep it right there for the rest of the show.
Perfect. YouTube, Facebook, hello. Hope you all
Hey,
are
guys.
doing well out there.
Guess who died?
Yeah. All right. If you're good, I will hit the intro.
Welcome to the Fifth and Goal Sports Podcast. Now, here are your hosts, Aaron, Josh, and Johnny.
Welcome to the show. Listeners, viewers, Josh, hello. You'll notice
that gap you heard. You probably went, huh?
Wait,
usually there's a third guy.
Is there usually a third guy? Well, look, we've got a lot to talk about today. And I'm not diving into this first. But as you are likely aware, the Reds did make the playoffs, which I am thrilled about, contrary to what I may have sounded like 2 weeks ago. Now, also 2 weeks ago, Johnny promised that if the Reds did somehow make the playoffs, even though they had, what was it, a 1.3% chance like 3 weeks ago, that he would flee the state. 1.3% as of September 5th, that he would flee the state. Josh, he has in fact fled the state. So much so that he's not here. And not here on the show. I mean, he's in the US of A.
And he is, right, yeah, still in the US. His international travel has ended.
Yes.
For now, that we know of.
Right.
Because what we do know, and we won't dox him on the show.
Right.
But he is moving further away from both of us at the same time. Which is what he had promised. He was trying to go. I was like, hey, I can set you up down here. And he's like, nope, I can't. That's too predictable. The curse will know.
Right. The Reds are going west. He's going east. I'll keep it that general. Now, he could be international because if you drive far enough east, you'll get somewhere.
That is what they say. I feel like in most of the instances in which I guess, you know what? If you go south and east, I mean, obviously, if you keep driving, you'll get somewhere.
Yeah.
Even if that somewhere is, in fact, ocean, and you've just dunked your car into the big lake we like to call the ocean.
Now, the danger there is if you go so far east, you end up west. That is the danger in this situation.
And that's what I'm worried about Johnny, because he does sometimes talk about his flat earth stuff. And I am worried that he's kind of, he's not here so I can make this joke. Right. He's going to Christopher Columbus himself. He never believed the earth was flat. That's just a misnomer. But guess what?
That's what he paid you to say.
That's what he paid me to say.
Right.
What really happened is Johnny, being the flat earth truther that we know him to be,
right,
does think that he's going to play, or that he's going to go on the opposite side of the flat map that is the Earth.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, he's going to find himself in San Diego real quick.
Yeah, and that's real close to where the Reds are going to be playing in Los Angeles.
I knew I should have. Why did I say San Diego? I was going to look that up, and I'm like, no, I know it's probably west.
Close
and
enough.
I forgot. The Padres never make it. Why was I guessing?
The Padres did make it, but they're not playing.
Right,
They'll be playing in Chicago. They're
not
coming
in the
over
sense where a squeaked in wild card would accept them.
Yeah, correct. San Diego had that thing wrapped up quite a while ago. Not necessarily the division. That was kind of out of reach, but or wait, did they win the division? I'm stupid. I don't know what's happening. No, that's the Dodgers won the division. Okay. Before we say anything else dumb, which that's what the rest of the show will be.
We're getting there. We're getting there. And we will get back to baseball talk. Don't you worry.
Yes, we will. So Johnny's dead. Just to recap,
Johnny died.
If you zoned out for 5 minutes, Johnny's dead.
Understandable.
We're moving on with Adam. Josh, happy National Coffee Day.
Happy National Coffee Day.
Yeah.
I have so many free coffees lined up. I got my first one this morning.
I
have enough points for one tomorrow. I had a friend. I met a friend. He's living in Taiwan, but he gave me a tiny little Taipei mug and some coffee that he gave me. So I just made myself a nice, almost 6 p.m. Central Time.
Yes, sir.
mocha pot coffee. Man, I am set for the week with all the free coffees I've gotten.
Yeah, which is good because for like at least 2 days, hopefully a third day, us Reds fans have to live on Pacific time. So this is good training for us. Not that I,
you know what they say,
don't already do that, but
we sleep in December.
True. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so happy National Coffee Day to you all. Hope it was good. Yeah, I got so many free and heavily discounted coffees today. So thank you to all the establishments that partook in the holiday, because it is.
Thank you, coffee.
Yeah, thank you, coffee. Powers this show. Yeah, hope you all are doing well out there. Obviously, there's a lot more happening in the world than just baseball. You have ties in the NFL. You've got, I don't even know what the Dolphins call it. Whatever sport the Dolphins are playing. I don't know what that is, but that's a whole different thing. A lot happening there. We probably won't hit that as much, especially because Johnny and I still need to get our eliminator picks, but spoiler alert for later on, we're still alive. But I think a lot of attention in the world of sports is focused on, well, it's focused on a team, and it's focused on a coach that time and time again cannot win the big game. And I'm talking about Kirby Smart, because he is now 1-7 against Alabama. Baby! No, I'm obviously we'll talk about that. I'm talking about James Franklin.
Obviously him, but two, yes. President James Franklin.
Josh, I know you didn't have a chance to watch this game all the way through, but
I watched the final I guess you can say drive, but also here's the thing. Here's the thing. I didn't need to fully, long story short, I had a weird Friday night to Saturday morning, ended up accidentally passing out from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. That's peak football time. So I got to wake up and be shocked by many of the scores that I saw on my phone, which I will say that's a
fun way to do it sometimes.
Like, it was fun. I didn't hate it. Do you know how many times Ohio State has gone in and to a whiteout after a hate Ohio week in a night game and pulled out the win? I would say the majority. I think there's one that's in our memories that's pretty
2016. Yep.
Everything else, right?
Yeah.
And so Oregon's a different machine this year. And unfortunately, as I was seeing on the message boards and a lot of the fans, Oregon might be a different beast this year. Dan Lanning might have sparked something. James Franklin and Penn State has run pretty much the same type of offense with the same type of quarterback.
Yeah, I've got a list of those quarterbacks.
Mid-90s.
If I can find it. Well, I thought I had it.
You could probably make up
names
of, you know, that Key and Peele skit? You could probably do that, but just kind of make it more Midwestern, and you probably have half the list right there.
Yeah.
A bunch of Dan Smiths.
I had it pulled up, but yeah, I can list it off from memory too. It's like Christian Hackenberg. I mean, Tracy McSorley stands above the rest a little bit, but you've got I had to listen. It was better than me trying to remember it all. But you're right. It's cut and paste. Like, now all these people are asking, well, what if Drew Aller had gone to the NFL draft, and what if Penn State had Bo Tribula running things? Would it look any different? No, it wouldn't.
This is the whole thing: is Drew Aller, Will Levis, Sean Clifford, Trace McSorley, Christian Hackenberg, Matt McLaurin, Rob Bolden, Daryl Clark, Anthony Morelli, Michael Robinson, Zach Mills.
Like, Michael Robinson stands out, and like Trace McSorley, that's it. Like, that's why us college football fanatics were screaming at the Titans when they drafted Will Levis, don't do this. Now, I know he played for Kentucky more than Penn State, like, notably, but still, we're like, no, don't do this. And they did. I'm not trying to pick on Drew Aller. That's not what this is about, because I am positive that is happening.
We're going to mostly pick on James Franklin. But we have to start with Drew Aller.
And the reason I say that is because, number one, I'm sure he's getting annihilated online far too much.
And he's from Medina. He's from Medina. We can't.
Yeah, he's from Ohio, which
we can't.
That's another concerning trend. If you're Penn State, all their quarterbacks are coming from Ohio, and they're basically picking up the leftovers of whatever Ohio State doesn't want. But that's
whoever Ryan Day doesn't like.
Yeah, exactly. In Penn State's last 4 losses, they have had the ball, and this goes back to last year. So this is last year and this year. They've had the ball with a chance to win or tie, which in overtime they had a chance to win because Oregon missed the 2-point conversion. So a 2-point conversion wins it. In 3 of those 4 games, Drew Aller has thrown an interception, and it happened again on Saturday. And I do think whatever kind of offense is being run, because I thought this Penn State offense going into the year would be just a little bit better. I thought the wide receiver play would be better. I thought another year in Kotelnicki's offense would be better for Drew Aller. I thought that last year, while rough at times, would set him up for a successful run this year. And I'm saying all this, and it's not like Penn State's season is over, but it's just the same old story. And I didn't see any evidence on Saturday that anything is improved. So it does come down to coaching a lot. I think it comes down to wide receivers a lot. It just, at the end of the day, comes down to Drew Aller too. He was just inaccurate at times, was not good, threw a pick in a bad spot.
Yeah.
So I feel terrible for him. Like,
Yeah.
that's just a brutal way to lose that game. Because at the end of the day, too, he was also part of the reason why Penn State came back and was in that game with a chance to win to begin with. But it felt like Penn State lost this game twice. It felt like they lost it twice.
Truly. And what's sad is like that last interception, it's still an athletic play by I forget the Oregon defensive person who nabbed it. It's not like it was still a very low throw, but like it's tragic because it very could have easily been not an interception had he done a slightly different. I mean, and this is what's going through his brain and everybody's brains who's a fan of the Nittany Lions, is like it's these types of crunch time things where if you've done your checks and none of your looks are good, there can be this pressure. We saw this last year. I'm thinking specifically Ohio State because those are the ones that I have like the sharpest pains from. In Oregon, when you're down to crunch time and you're not sure, once all of your normal checks are out and you're like, I don't have a guy open, and you don't know what to do, and so you force something. Not everyone can force something, and not everybody is experienced to know what can and can't be forced. Real quick, I remember last night watching, we'll get to the Cowboys, we'll get to NFL in a second, but watching the Cowboys, many times you saw, of all things, I thought it was one of Prescott's better games of the past few years.
Absolutely.
I mean, from a stats perspective, sure, but two, he was so good at not only reading the defense of what was getting set up, but being able to diagnose it and kill the play and reset it. There was a few dumb things. They tried to do a hard count and try and fake out. I don't know why NFL teams try, especially with his cadence. It doesn't work. Here we go. Like, cool, great. Like, everyone knows your cadence, bud.
Right.
You don't have a hard count. And everybody on the Packers side knew that. But he would make the adjustments necessary when he didn't see something open. Now, was that perfect? No. By and large, he was able to react more or less appropriately when things came up. Something that, like, again, like you said, was part of the reason why Penn State came back, but when push comes to shove, can also be their greatest Achilles heel.
Yeah. And they didn't run it as well as you would expect from an offensive line that, from all reports, is the best that James Franklin has ever had. He now falls to 2-21 against top 6 opponents. And that is including a current ongoing 15-game losing streak. 2-21, that is the second worst ever. Ironically, Frank Beamer is first on that list, which is shocking. But anyways, Frank Beamer's 2-24, James Franklin 2-21. Then the other 3, I don't know if I've ever heard of. So it's one of those things like, you know, Penn State's probably going to win double-digit wins again this year. They're probably going to go into Ohio State and lose again, though. You know, like, what do you do? Yeah. If you're James Franklin, like, is he thinking about, and again, I'm saying all this as if Penn State's season's over. To be clear, it is not. They could lose to Ohio State. They're in the playoffs at 10-2. It's the same situation as last year. Maybe the difference this year is, hey, instead of throwing a pick against Notre Dame at the end, you actually do for once go on a drive, get to the natty. But that's all kind of hyperbole because there's nothing on the field that suggests that that's going to happen. The AP poll voters must have gone to bed when Penn State was up 3-0 for how little they were dropped. And I understand that Oregon's a good team, but that was just such a unfortunate, almost inevitable result. Like, even if you thought Penn State was going to win, in the back of your mind, you're like, well, I think they're going to win, but I could see it going this way, and it went that way. And James Franklin's now 2-21 against top 6 opponents. I don't know if this is a situation now, depending on how the rest of the season unfolds, if he is just ready to move on. Like, Arkansas, that job's open. He's been in the SEC before. He's been successful. Like, is he just, at this point, does the pressure build up so much because of his inability to win a big game that he says, you know what, I'm good. Let me try somewhere else. I have shown in the past that I can rebuild a program. To be very clear, Penn State is better off now than they were, immediately before he got there.
Absolutely.
But it's tough. And
here's the thing.
It's tough. Yeah.
This was their first, you could argue this is their first real test, but it's their 4th home game in a row. Sure, yeah, Oregon's the first heavy team that they've really, I don't think anybody, was expecting. Villanova, I'll give them something, but no, that's FCS. It's not the worst.
And they had a bye week going into this game.
That's also, they had rest.
Yeah.
So I want to give them some grace, but also everybody else at this stage, we just hit the last week in September. Everybody else, even Alabama, has readjusted. We were making fun of them week 1. And again, are they out of the woods yet? No, but they're clearly they've made the necessary adjustments.
I mean, no one had beaten Georgia in Georgia since 2019, I think. If I remember correctly.
This is an insane home state streak, really.
Yeah.
And so to have everything going your way, you've had since August of real-time play, not just scrimmages, not just practice. Since August 30th, you've had real games you've had to play in favorable conditions, meaning your home stadium. You had the whiteout. That's the big boy. You do that once a year for the scary team coming in. You got to do something.
Yep.
You can't just keep coasting against UCLA, Northwestern. Again, depending on how Indiana develops, that may not even be a gimme. Most likely, but it may not.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's wild, and it's nothing new. I think that's the funny part about this is I don't feel like I'm adding anything into the conversation that has not been said.
No, I'm repeating what every depressed Penn State fan has already yelled about on TikTok.
Right.
I believe their 4 most attended, by the way, 111,015 people in that in Beaver Stadium. I believe I need to find this stat. I didn't save it, but I believe the 4 most attended Penn State home games have been losses.
That's crazy.
It's not a stat that really you have to pull out that often, but sometimes it fits.
And that builds up too in future years. The whiteout rolls around next year, whoever it will be against. I don't have the schedule in front of me. And wow, that is an unbelievable environment. We've experienced this recently with Ohio State versus Michigan, and especially last year. I think you felt it immediately when Ohio State wasn't just immediately beating a much, a more inferior Michigan. You thought
I had to turn it off halfway through the second quarter.
and you feel that in the stands too. You could feel it through Fox's poor. I mean, Fox has a horrible job with crowd noise, but you could tell even though it was a Fox network broadcast,
the radio call was the same. Paul Keels was frustrating. Yeah, he was frustrated.
You can feel
and you can hear the stadium
nervousness, and you can hear it because it's not as loud, ironically. So long term, you're sort of in that range if you're Penn State, where next year the whiteout rolls around and you got a bunch of people just really tight muscles and they're kind of nervous and they're ready to yell, but it turns bad in the first quarter and all of a sudden that place gets a lot quieter. And that's essentially what Dan Manning, I just called him Dan Manning. Wow. Dan Lanning. That's essentially what he said. It's like, this is usually a 7-point advantage. We did not feel that, which could also just be Dan Lanning being Dan Lanning.
Yes.
He loves
he's been
sound
on
bites, but
yes.
Good. Let him live. Good for him.
Yes.
Anyways.
He's had a few good jabs.
Yeah. Yep. So that happened. We talked about Alabama beating Georgia in a wild game as well. Wild game that Alabama led, I think, throughout. I don't think Georgia ever had a lead in that game, if I remember correctly. And it's notable because of that Georgia home win streak being gone. Of course, Ohio State beating Washington means that the number 1 and number 2 home win streaks are dead. It's significant because, ironically, as fabulous and amazing as Kirby Smart has been, he's only beaten Alabama once. Now, granted, it's in a national title game, but that is a wild stat. It's happened to Ryan Day versus Michigan. It's happening to Kirby Smart against Alabama. I can't explain
it's
it.
Happening to James Franklin against anybody with competence,
right?
Like
with a little silly number next to their name.
It is odd that we're seeing a lot. And again, we go back to like the democratization of talent. We're seeing this with like, again, no, this is not to downplay. Don't hear me downplaying their success as like, oh, just because. We see this with Vandy's. Yeah. We're seeing the flattening of the curve. The bell curve is starting to come down. Yep. Now, I'm all for that. We have teams now that, like, with coaches who just can't get around this team because they can't out recruit, or they can't rely on their name and their heritage to pull them forward.
Yeah.
And I'll take it. It's fun.
Yeah.
Frustrating when it's my team. But every other team can do it, please.
Yeah, well, and on to that point, Dennis Dodd put out a great tweet yesterday talking about kind of the SEC and that flattening of the bell curve. Because you're right, it's flattening at the top and it's also rising in at the bottom, which is great. The top 5 teams currently in the SEC, based on just conference win percentage, who are all undefeated, have gone a combined 252 years without winning a conference championship. You've got Ole Miss, 62 years. Vanderbilt, 103 years since their last conference championship. And they host do they host Alabama? I don't know. They play out. No, it's in Tuscaloosa.
No, they're at Alabama.
Yeah.
Either way, they hosted last year.
Yeah, that's right. You're right.
Because the joke was they couldn't handle construction.
Yeah, that's right. Missouri, 56 years, which that's hard to believe. They didn't win in the Big 12. That's crazy. Oklahoma, 5 years, and Texas A&M, 27 years. So all but Ole Miss. Ole Miss is the only team of those 5 who has actually won an SEC title. So, yeah, Josh, I think that's a great point, because we're seeing this, like, the ACC kind of had some carnage this week. Like, Florida State losing is wild. You almost had Louisville lose. You almost had Georgia Tech lose. Like, it actually could have been worse for the ACC if you think of it worse being the top teams losing. But it's a lot more fun. And you've got an Ole Miss team beating LSU. They're vaulting into the top 10 in the AP poll and the 5th in goal poll as well. And to kind of wrap up that point, I think when Vanderbilt does play Alabama, even though they're in Tuscaloosa, which I do expect Alabama to win, not easily, but I don't think you're going to watch this game on Saturday and watch these rosters roll out and say, oh man, the quality of athlete that Alabama has is just far superior to Vanderbilt. You're not going to be able to say that the way you could 10 years ago. Like, Vanderbilt's offensive line is legit. They've got some real talented players. So I think it's fun. The SEC, we are in for a wild ride, because while Alabama, and I guess Alabama is undefeated in the SEC. So I guess this stat is just purely the undefeated teams left in the SEC. But regardless, that's a lot of fun. Now, notably, 14 of the 16 teams have played 2 conference games or less. So we are far, far away from really figuring out who is at the top of the conference. But the journey to get there is going to be awesome. And we've already got some good games. On that Alabama note, to wrap it up against their game against Georgia, this was, believe it or not, this was the first time a Kalen DeBoer coached team had fewer penalties than their opponent since Washington beat Texas in the 2023 semifinal. So, like, 2 years ago. That's at College Football Nerds providing that stat, which is wild. Because Alabama has played an FCS opponent between now and then, I believe.
Yes.
So
they better. That's SEC tradition. So
yeah, week before Auburn. I'm sure they did.
Mm.
Probably played the Citadel. Yeah. Yep. So that's that. Of course, we had Ohio State kind of rolling in Seattle. I think made Buckeye fans a little bit nervous how conservative the play calling is there. On one hand, I understand that. On the other hand, you went to Seattle, a tough place to play, against a 5th and goal poll top 25 team, and you didn't allow one of the best offenses in college football to score a touchdown.
Yeah.
And you beat them by 18.
I think this goes to, and I'm trying to pull up the tweet now because it was a really good understanding. I thought it was a really good take. Essentially, sorry, I'm going to just make up my own composite thought based on my memories of the tweets. But essentially, we had, and not to bring back the NFL, but we had a fake tush push from the Eagles on these. That's fun. We like seeing these trick plays. And some of the people were getting, again, jokingly, maybe less jokingly, depending on your fandom, going, why are we showing this in September? Right. Why is this not a December play? Mm-hmm. And the point being, you don't show your hand if you don't have to. I believe the Eagles were up at that point.
Yeah, they were.
If I remember correctly.
Yep.
And so this is not it was from a tactical standpoint, probably unnecessary. They had already demonstrated they can get to the red zone and move forward. Long story short, when it comes to Ohio State, yeah, the conversation was, why are we not letting Jeremiah Smith just run his heart out? Well, one, we probably have there's a chance that they're okay with the routes he has been running, and anything else they want to run with him, they have to save. Let's see. We already have established that Sayan has the highest accuracy rating in the Big Ten right now. He's like 78% Like, we know he can do his reads. He can throw long. He can throw short. Like, they'll still develop him, but it's all right. We know Jeremiah Smith's good. If we're going to go in and everybody expects Ohio State to at least be another challenger, there's a greater chance that they're going to be paying more attention to Ohio State film. And you know what they can't defend against? What they don't know. So play conservatively. If you can play conservatively and win and save your fancy stuff for later, do it. Yeah. Tressel did this and won an 0-1. Almost won 2 more times. Like, you can do this.
Yeah. And I think I understand the frustration from Ohio State, because it's like, well, why are you putting the training wheels on Sayan through 4 games?
Right.
I get that to a certain extent. Understanding that it's his first road game. I think, and I'm giving Ryan Day the benefit of the doubt here, which is ironic because this time last year, I think I would have been on vocal.
Oh, yeah, this time we had a
Ohio
Pac-12. Yeah. We're ready
but
to, yeah.
I do think Ryan Day feels so confident in that defense, which has just been unbelievable, that I don't think there's as much panic from Ryan Day as there has been in the past. Because, I mean, think about what Ohio State's accomplished in less than 12 months. And the top teams they've beaten, like all of this, it's also such, to your point, Josh, it's such a long season. Like, if everything goes according to plan, Ohio State plays 16 games again this year. So part of it is like just being patient over the long course of a season. Yeah. Now, because you're right, there's not a single game on this schedule, especially the way Penn State looked against Oregon, that Ohio State can win every single game playing exactly the way they did on Saturday. Run the ball with relative effect, because, my gosh, Bo Jackson, he gets hit at the line of scrimmage and falls forward for 8 yards. It's beautiful. Now, C.J. Donaldson, on the other hand, just kind of stands straight up and gets stacked up in 4th and 1. I've got a little bit of issue there. But
maybe don't do that.
Ohio State's starting to run the ball a little bit more effectively. The big play's not there, or has not been there a lot, but they don't need it to right now. And they won't need it to for a while, I don't think. I mean, Illinois, you go on the road there. That's a noon game that was just announced. We'll see. But comment on Facebook, going back to James Franklin before we kind of turn the page and talk some baseball. Franklin continues to show he's a terrible big game coach. I wonder how much money he has won or lost in the betting field. It's going to be a lock, not like a Johnny lock. True, no, it's no Johnny guarantee, but it's the second best thing. I may have won my dollar bet that Penn State would lose. I'll put it that way. It's his record is so bad it's almost hard to explain, like how this could be a thing, but it has been. So we'll see. Penn State's got some more opportunities, but yep, my number one team preseason not looking number one or top 10. Cough, cough. AP poll, not top 10.
Watch the games.
Yeah. I mean, surely they went to bed at like 8 p.m. Eastern time, woke up the next morning. Oh, Penn State lost in a close game to Oregon in overtime. Must have been a good battle. Penn State shouldn't get punished for that. Okay. Meanwhile, Vanderbilt's sitting there at 5-0, like 17. You crazy people. Okay.
Who have they lost to?
Yeah, exactly. No quality losses, Josh. That's
they're going to
Vanderbilt's
jump up.
problem.
They're going to jump up 10 spots, and when they lose in Tuscaloosa,
lose a close, tough, hard-fought game against Alabama. Vault up the AP poll. Speaking of, there's no good segue here. The Mets colossal collapse.
Yeah. Speaking of collapses, that works. Man, was it the fifth inning? What a fifth inning.
What a time. I mentioned it at the top. The Cincinnati Reds on September 5th had a 1.3% chance to make the postseason. I'll repeat that again because I did not stutter. 1.3, 24 days ago, which conversely means that the Mets had basically a 98.7% chance because that's how math works. Just to give you a little bit more context on how, and what I'm saying here makes it sound like I'm saying, oh, the Reds just backed into the playoffs. Good for them. The Reds, at the end of the day, beat the Brewers, who were their nemesis, in Milwaukee against a team that was trying. It wasn't like the Brewers rolled over. They were going for the number one overall seed, if you will, the best record in baseball, which they got. But the Reds win 9 out of their last 13 games. But here's what they also did. The Reds are the first, and this is per OptaStats on Twitter, the Reds are the first team in MLB history to have no qualifying batter hit 270 or better, no batter hit 25 home runs, although Ellie did get kind of close down the stretch, no pitcher wins 15 games, and no pitcher notches 200 strikeouts. And this is all, of course, has to take place in a full 162, and yet the Reds still made the playoffs. Now, some people are drawing comparisons to the 1990 team where no player reached 90 RBI. You didn't have any player have 200 hits. You didn't have a player with 100 runs on that team. You didn't have a player with 30 home runs. So I get all that. The Reds are in the postseason, Josh. I can't believe it. Yes, I know you can go back 2 weeks ago and hear just probably my most angry rant ever on the history of this show.
It really was.
I take none of that. I take none of that back.
No,
because this is the first time the Reds are in a postseason playoff spot.
What if
in a full season since 2013?
And we're not going to, full season. Thank you. Yeah. Here's the thing. We were talking about the curse with Johnny, and I am not going to overextend this. But could a solution to the curse, an antidote for the curse, be Aaron needs to be publicly angry? And now
maybe because
now we've realized the error of our ways.
That doesn't happen that often.
It doesn't.
No, it really doesn't.
It's like, like Bruce Banner being totally fine,
right?
And then eventually just like flip it into Hulk. And I don't know what the equivalent would be of like
right.
They heard. Mm-hmm. They heard angry Aaron.
Yeah.
And went, oh shoot, hey.
We better step
this
up,
one, guys.
Or the Mets. Conversely, the Mets were like, oh my gosh, look at this guy. We should lose all of it, every game.
Wouldn't it be funny?
Josh, the Mets had the best record in baseball through like 2.5 months of the season.
I saw so much. It was so many Italian memes.
Yeah.
It was like they were king.
Yeah, who was it that threw out the first pitch? Oh, it was Pablo Sanchez. At that point, they won like a bunch in a row. We thought, it's the Grimace thing all over again. But
yes,
it did not. It did not work out for the Mets. I was thoroughly enjoying all the Mets meltdown on Twitter, announcers included in that, and I don't blame them one bit. Yes, the Mets melted down. If you're the Reds, you had to play yourself into a position that you could take. We talked about this last week in college football and the NFL, like teams like the Chiefs. They, even if they're having a rough game, they fight and they claw and they put themselves in an opportunity to take advantage of a team that makes a mistake And when that team makes a mistake, they take advantage. The Reds did that. They win 9 out of 13. And they make it, they're the last team in baseball. Josh, I don't know if it's because I just spent my entire night last night just scrolling Twitter and watching TikToks and watching the locker room celebration. If I'm just so high on the first playoff series for the Reds, first real playoff series in over a decade. I think the Reds actually have a shot at the Dodgers. Most people are just assuming the Dodgers will wipe us out. And I understand why. The Reds were not good against the Dodgers in the regular season, winning just 1 of 6 games. But the strength of this Reds team was their starting pitching. And you basically are 2 really good starts away from knocking out the Dodgers. Now, that is so much easier said than done, but it's a best of 3 series. It's crunch time right away. You've got Hunter Green going in game 1 for the Reds. So I don't hate the matchup against the Dodgers. They're still somewhat injured. That's still a thing. Will Smith, there's some questions about him. I think Tommy Edmonds out, if I read that correctly. So this is not the Dodgers team that we were promised at the beginning of the year. Now, it's still a very, very good team with a lot of good pitching, a lot of good hitting. Some guy named Shohei Ohtani still exists on that roster, as does Freddie Freeman, as does Mookie Betts. But it's a best of 3. You only need to win 2. I don't know. Crazier things have happened, like the Reds getting into the playoffs in the first place. That to me is crazier than the Dodgers. Somehow that's crazier than us beating the Dodgers. I don't know why.
And again, I'm not going to say anything, but the Rangers had a similar type run.
Mm-hmm.
If they can get out of this spot, they might be set up okay.
Yeah, who knows?
Crazier things have happened.
Josh, no Texas Rangers in the postseason, but
that's all right.
It was worth it because also no Houston Astros in the postseason for the first time since 2016.
If you know the whole they expect one of us in the wreckage, brother. If it has to be both of us, they'll take both of us.
Yeah. Thank you for your sacrifice. I appreciate that.
We're happy to help.
Yeah. The Mets weren't the only colossal collapse down the stretch. The Tigers, now they're in the playoffs, but they at one point also had Major League Baseball's best record, and they have struggled mightily down the stretch. In fact, they struggle so much that they let the Cleveland Guardians come back. And by the way, all the credit in the world to Cleveland, because Cleveland had to go out and earn this, and they did. Cleveland at one point this season was 15 and a half games back in last place in the division. They claw all the way back, take the division on the final day, and now they get to host this Detroit Tigers team. It's a 3 versus 6 seed matchup, which I feel like seeds don't really matter in baseball. I feel like no one really uses that as much, but it doesn't matter. Cleveland hosting Detroit in this wild card series. That will actually kick off the postseason tomorrow on Tuesday, September 30th. So that's happening. In the American League, you've got an AL East gauntlet. Not only do you have the Yankees in Boston, the Red Sox playing in a best of 3, the winner possibly gets to play the Toronto Blue Jays. So just all the rivalry and hatred in that corner of the bracket, give that to me. I love it. And then, of course, the other matchup is the Chicago Cubs hosting the San Diego Padres in that wild card series, which Josh makes me think that we should probably pick what we think that bracket's going to do.
Sometimes the guys make picks based on their vast knowledge of sports. Sometimes they make picks based on vibes.
Josh, why do you like journalism specifically?
It's because it's a concept, and it's like, I don't know. I just think for me, it's like a horse learning how to not only write, not only write and edit, but also like do like some sort of like in-field reporting. And I just like the idea of a horse with a little voice recorder.
Holds a mic up to the other horses.
Either way, they're probably going to be wrong. It's time for Picks of the Week.
Josh, we're hitting, we're reaching unprecedented territory. Because not only are you leading in Picks of the Week, you are now leading in episode 12 of 20 in season 4. You're leading by...
you shouldn't have said that.
Multiple points. Now, let's not have a Mets Tigers collapse here. But
Mm-hmm.
you're on a heater right now. You got
Where's
the
that?
Oregon
Where's
Penn
that
State
blanket that they put over pitchers' heads? I'm getting that.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
getting my beats.
that's right. That's right. Josh, you've got 7 points because Oregon does beat Penn State, as you and Johnny predicted. So our scoreboard is now you at 7 points, Johnny and I at 5. So we've got some catching up to do, and we're making it easier for you because there's no points. Well, there's probably no points up for grabs this week. The only way that would happen is if one of us, meaning me or Johnny, loses in the eliminator. So one of us is going to get a point on you at some point, but it could be a while. So we'll report back next week with who we chose. But Johnny picked the Detroit Lions. They beat. Happy to report they beat the Cleveland Browns handily, 34-10. I picked the Buffalo Bills. They took care of the New Orleans Saints, which are becoming the New Orleans Aints again, unfortunately. So that's where we're at. We'll make picks when Johnny's not dead, and we'll report back next week with what we ended up picking. But we're both still alive. But this week we are going to pick the MLB playoffs. We're going to go ahead and make a prediction. If you're new, this is how this works in terms of our points. If you pick a team to make, because we're picking this at the beginning of this tournament of the postseason of the playoffs, if your team reaches the World Series, and you of course have 2 opportunities, you get a point. If your team wins, or if a team that you picked to win does in fact win, you get a point. So there is a possibility of 3 total points by the time the MLB postseason comes around. So I'm going with the Philadelphia Phillies to win it all. A team that we didn't necessarily talk about a lot in our coverage because obviously we're talking about the Reds. But Phillies just feel like a team they're going to have some clutch hitting. Kyle Schwarber, most of all. But I think there's going to be a couple Nick Castellanos home runs. Tom Brenneman's back in the booth calling college football games, so, why not? I think pitching is good enough. I think because the Mets had such a historic flop over the course of 3 months, they probably got more attention than the Phillies being good, which is somewhat a disservice to Philadelphia. But I think if, you're just sitting there with the 2 seed and you've got to buy. Here's another thing. Here's why I like the Phillies to win the World Series. We have seen that teams with a bye in this new expanded format of the postseason do not fare well. The Dodgers, I think, were obviously an exception to that rule last year. But if I have my story straight, the Phillies are doing an intra-squad scrimmage this week because they don't play till Saturday. So they're going to play each other, and they're selling tickets to this, and they're going to have Citizens Bank Park filled up probably close to the brim. And they're making it a competitive game. They're trying to stay locked in, stay in rhythm. I'll confirm that it's actually the Phillies that are doing this, but I love that as a strategy. Maybe there's another team that's done that in the past that I just missed, but I love that for the Phillies. Like keep the juices flowing. You had an excellent season. Schwarber hit a ton of home runs. I believe he led Major League Baseball with over 130 RBI. So I like that team. Give me the Yankees to come out of the AL again, the American League, and give me the Yankees to lose in that World Series again. And what will probably be heartbreaking fashion. I do think there is a wild card team that reaches the World Series. I think the Yankees can put it all together like they did last year. But I like the Phillies this year. World Series coming to burn your city down again after it was burnt down in February. So
yes, you are correct. Wednesday at 6 p.m. local time will be the scrimmage. I can get tickets for it. So most likely neither can you.
Oh, okay.
Unless you're rich. But if you're rich, give us the money instead.
Right.
Please, thank you.
If you're rich, you're going to the actual playoff games. So yeah, give us that money.
Yeah, if you're rich. Yeah, if you're rich. Can I have a little bit? I was going back and forth. I want to stay with Aaron and say I want to have a wild card team make the playoffs because statistically, especially with the new playoff program, the new playoff format, it makes sense. However, I already typed in my names, so I'm kind of going on teams I don't want to see win or get really right up to the line and not make it. For me, for the next decade, it's going to be infinitely fun that the Dodgers spent more than the GDP of most countries on a player, I would love to see basically a playoff route from now on. Get your one. The funniest option is they just get one right in the middle, right in the beginning, and nothing else happens. So I'm doing Blue Jays over. I'm blanking on everything. Why do I know them? It's Dodgers, the one everyone hates. The ones who I thought it'd be funny to lose. And two, I want Canada winning as many non-hockey championships as possible. So yes, provided the Raptors are in a good position, I will also be including them if I can justify this.
I'll go ahead and go out on a limb that they're not going to be, Josh, but I
don't
that
think
attitude.
so. I don't think so. But just I'm keeping that at the back of my mind.
Yeah. I love that.
And if Goodell ever expands an NFL team up to Toronto, Vancouver, whatever.
I thought you were about to say Europe, and I was going to say that's stupid because he's throwing that out there as an option. But...
I'd love to do 16 international games. No, you wouldn't.
Well, he would, Josh.
Yes,
that's the problem.
You
yeah,
would.
Right.
No, you, the collective.
Yeah. Don't get us started. Don't get us started.
Don't get us started.
Josh, I like it. That'd be a lot of fun for Toronto. I'd love to see that. That environment would be nuts. It will be nuts already.
Oh,
good news for baseball fans. Not only is the postseason here, it's also bad news for the baseball is dying crowd, which at times we've been part of, but we've also seen. Well, it's not so much that we've said baseball is dying. We've said, hey, baseball
dying could die.
Could. We'd like to fix it for you. Well, baseball seems to be taking care of that themselves because viewership's way up. On MLB TV, 34% increase, which is wild because that is their most expensive paid platform. But it's up 10% on Fox. It's up even more on ESPN and TBS and MLB Network. And so that's great. It's also the third straight year of attendance growth for the first time since 2007.
Ooh,
the rule changes are working.
I'm so glad you brought that up. Speaking of which, I brought this up. It was going to be a what I'm following, but I think it's a perfect opportunity to bring this up. I have from Codify Baseball on Twitter. For the past 22 years, from the 03 season. This is MLB games lasting 3+ hours. Percentage of MLB games lasting over 3 hours. The peak was 2021. The 2021 season saw 67% of MLB games lasting 3 hours or more.
Wow.
2022, you had 60%. And really, since 2003, you had 28%. It rose steadily, as we've talked about a few times. The worst was 21, 67%. The majority of games were 3 hours or longer. The last year before the rule change, 60% of games, 3 or more hours. 2023, 17%. And it stayed within that 12 to 17% range pretty much since. I think it's averaging 15% of games now are 3 hours or more. And I know some people have kind of complained like, oh, I want to be able to sit the baseball old heads. We'll call them that. The guys going, oh, you need to be able to, it's not worth it to go to a game. Hey, guess what? You're going to watch the game anyway.
Right.
Because you are unhealthily attached to a team because it's associated with your dad being happy with you or something. Congratulations. The majority of well-adjusted people don't mind that you can walk in and like have a good time and be out in 2.5 hours.
Yeah, right. Yep. I think that's well put. We'll get Johnny.
Sorry, my dad loved me. I like a shorter game.
Oh man, yeah. We'll get Johnny's picks as well. I don't know how to transition from that. The Phillies are the best odds team to win at plus 425. The Cincinnati Reds are the worst or the least likely at plus 3,500.
Hey, not the first time. Not the first time they've been last place in an odds race.
Yeah, I'm guessing their odds to make the playoffs were probably about the same at the beginning of the year, and probably even worse at that early September date. So, you know what? At least 2 more games to Reds baseball. I'll take it. I'll take one win and be honestly happy. But if we somehow pull off this series against the Dodgers, I'm going to, you know how angry I was 2 weeks ago? I'm going to be the exact opposite. I'm just going to be screaming, but for joy, for an hour and a half next week. So prepare yourself. for that, I guess. I don't know. Let's talk about who knows what.
The guys spent hours scrolling social media, and they found some pretty dumb stuff. Now they want to talk to you about it.
Do they need a guy on weekends to like walk around random McDonald's and like dressed as a Grimacy? Because I'll take that.
Are you okay saying bad things about the British?
Good luck. It's time for What We're Following.
I always struggle this time of year with what I'm following because I'm just watching football. Like that's pretty much it. So that's where I'm at. I'm trying to say something that's more exciting than, oh, did you watch this football game? I realize that that's why some of you tune into this show, and I do appreciate you for that. But
hey, how about this? I have 2 major what I'm following.
Oh, amazing.
So I can start with one.
Yeah.
You can find yours, and then I'll end with the other one.
I love it.
One, Fat Bear Week is back, guys.
Yes. Yes, it is.
It is the last day. Well, by the time this goes out, it'll have been too late.
That's okay.
But they didn't announce it in time, and meaning they didn't tweet it in a way that I would see it. And so it started the day after we recorded last week's episode. And that's okay, because I'm still following it technically.
Yep.
The Bears are fat. They're back. They won't be back for a while. That's the idea of hibernation. Go to fatbearweek.org. You can vote for your favorite. I voted for Chunk. Bear number 32. He had a really good glow up this week. And then you can also vote against Grazer, or I guess they're calling him Bear 856. 856 ballooned up this year. Real good job. Real good effort on his parts. Chunk is a classic. Chunk does so much good off season that it's really just a classic. He's the favorite to win by far in my mind. But yeah, it'll most likely be 856 versus Chunk tomorrow for the championships. You know where my money's going. Go support Fat Bears.
Yeah.
Go eat a piece of salmon. Cooked, but go eat a piece of salmon later in honor of bears. Or some berries.
I love that. In all that time, I don't think I found a single thing that I'm following. Other than
perfect.
Just like I'm scrolling through my bookmarks, because that's usually, to give you a peek behind the curtain, that's usually how I find what I'm following, is I'll just be scrolling as one does. I mean, the bumper says as much. And usually I've saved something that is stupid and ridiculous. It's just all stats. It's just James Franklin at Penn State. Maybe I'm following my own lack of interest. Not that I have a lack of interest. I have a lack of interesting things that I've saved that people would find interesting.
That's all right.
I've got a stat here that says James Franklin's 4-21 against top 10 opponents. I've got a tweet here that says, from Adam Kramer in October 21st, 2023, Penn State is Iowa with a finished basement, which is just a banger. And then all he has to do is whip it out every week. There's a big game and just in quote tweets, tap sign, Penn State is Iowa with a finished basement. He's not wrong. I've got a tweet here that's saying Virginia is 2-0 in the ACC, and their remaining schedule is in conference play is Louisville, North Carolina, California, Wake Forest, Duke, and Virginia Tech. Like, is what I'm following is maybe Virginia is a college football playoff team? I don't know. Maybe what I'm following is just reading you all my Twitter. Welcome to story time. It's Aaron's Twitter.
Welcome to story time. There was one that Sickos tweeted out yesterday, and I didn't save it because it was a crazy stat, and I don't know why I saved it. I've
got a stat here that Arkansas is paying Sam Pittman $2.9 million because they fired him right now and didn't wait until he had an under 500 record, because oddly enough, that's how his buyout structure worked of his contract. There you go.
Ooh, there we go. That's not bad.
Yep.
Was it Sickos or was it, here we go. Virginia in the AP poll for the first time since 2019.
Oh, nice. That was the Brennan Armstrong days, which those days lasted a while. He was there for a while, but
Yes.
Um,
All right. Here's also what I'm following, guys. It is fair time in the
Oh,
great state of Texas. The
yeah.
State Fair of Texas opened this past Friday. I'm hoping to go in the next week or two, and you know what that means. We got Big Tex up. We pretty certain he's not going to catch on fire this time. They promised to make him sturdier. He will still wave and talk to you, and I hate that.
Yeah.
He does talk, and he shouldn't. He really shouldn't. He's too big to talk.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean. Grow up. We have the Big Tex Choice Awards. This is their 20th anniversary doing this. They have a winner for the best taste of savory, the best taste of sweet, most creative, and the best drink. But we're gonna hit the two classics. I'm gonna run you a few savories and a few sweets, and you're gonna tell me which I should get. First, I got brisket and bruise stuffed pretzels. It's a big. You ever see like a stuffed pepper?
Yes.
Like the dish.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But it's just imagine pretzel. Easy. There's an easy transition.
Love that.
Stuffed with what type of barbecue is it filled with? Brisket. Yeah. What did I say? Brisket. Duh. Texas. Brisket. Beer cheese. I think it's also. I would love a touch of coleslaw as well in this, but I don't think that's part of it. Served with spicy mustard on the side. Delicious. That didn't win, though. You have things like deep fried deli tacos. Very, very excited. It's pastrami, mashed potatoes, white cheese, chives, tucked into a corn tortilla, fried. Delicious. I'm going to try those. You have Wagyu bacon cheeseburger, deviled egg sliders.
Say all those words together again in that sentence for me.
Yeah, no, you're very welcome. I got you. Wagyu bacon cheeseburger, deviled egg sliders, Cajun seasoned Wagyu patty, topped with aged cheddar and crispy applewood bacon. Instead of a bun, it's sandwiched between two deep fried panko crusted deviled egg halves.
No way.
Served with house made ketchup inspired sauce.
That might be the worst part of it, but everything else I'm sold.
Kendall Williams made this. Kendall Williams.
What
is
a
like ketchup inspired sauce? What prompted you to say I can't legally call this ketchup?
Right. You're right, Josh. That is, yes.
That's my concern.
Yeah.
Just call it something. Call it fair sauce. I don't care. You can't say ketchup inspired sauce.
Mm-hmm.
That's dumb. Now that won the most creative award.
Okay.
The one that won the savory award is crab and mozzarella aranici. Maryland's blue crab meat, white rice, mozzarella cheese, spring onion, red bell pepper, lemon, and black pepper. This rice ball, so to speak, battered and deep fried, as it should be.
I'm about to say something maybe heretical.
Go for it.
Should it be that Northeastern if it's the Texas State Fair?
That is no. You are correct.
Is that a valid criticism, or am I just?
I feel like that's
too stereotypical?
It feels like we're moving very like
it sounds incredible.
2 of the 5 are north, or honestly 3 of the 5 feel very Northeastern. Deep fried deli tacos. When I think delis, I think New York, Philly.
Yeah, right.
It's pastrami, mashed potato. Like this is all like work. Yeah, like I can't. The crab, we don't got crab down here.
Right.
It's Maryland's blue crab meat. I got to go talk to Adam and see if this passes muster. And then pretzels still feel. I mean, because I grew up near Pennsylvania, and all of the good pretzel manufacturers are in Pennsylvania. That also feels like half Northeast. For the winner on the sweet side, You got some classic Dubai chocolate cheesecake. Of course, we're following the trends. Texas toast a la mode. That sounds really good. It's a big. It's Texas toast. It's Texas French toast. That's gonna be good. Like there's nothing wrong with that. The winner is what they call the Chill and Thrill Delight. It's apparently a vibrant, refreshing twist on Colombia's famous. Man, finally, I took another language than English. Salpichon de frutas. Don't say anything. is perfect for a warm day at the state fair. A Texas
because it's going to be warm.
I understand.
You can count on
those words. Yes.
Yeah.
Diced tomato. Shut up. Don't say anything. Diced mango, pineapple, watermelon, grapes, cantaloupe, and strawberries. Your classic fruit salad. Soaked in fresh watermelon juice and a splash of lime. Topped with handcrafted shaved mango sorbet. The picture looks like it's topped with spaghetti. It's a really fine sorbet, and so it initially they say it melts, and I believe them when they say it melts, because again, it's Texas, it's hot.
Right.
It looks like Skyline spaghetti. It really does, and it gave me a visual pause where I'm like, there's no way they made the 7-way. Skyline, real quick, love you guys. Truly, I miss you guys every day. I can't get it down here. I have to spend like $5 on a can, and I'm not.
Yeah.
Please don't ever come out with a dessert. I beg of you.
Well, they were advertising cheesecake for a very long time, and as a cheesecake lover,
cheesecake.
But see, I was like, as a cheesecake lover, I was like, this concerns me, and I would eat just about any cheesecake that's given to me, and probably be very happy with it. Skyline, and I like Skyline too, in moderation.
In moderation, amen.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna real quick. What are we at? We barely hit an hour of recording time. I'm just
we got at least half an hour to just vamp.
Gotta make sure they have baked nachos. I'm just on their recipe site, and sometimes I love seeing how unhinged these. I have a growing what I'm following. It's not ready yet. This is a pre what I'm following. I, inspired by that time we went to Nathan's Hot Dogs, back when Joey Chestnut got banned for a year. I went and tried to slander Nathan's Hot Dogs in any way I could, and I mocked their hot dog recipes on what I'm following.
I remember this
like a year or two ago.
Yeah,
and it was like, hey, here's a recipe: put 2 fried eggs on a hot dog. Hey, here's an idea.
Yeah,
put a slice of bacon on a hot dog.
Yep.
These half-baked recipes. And so I'm just on the hunt for these random companies to go, hey, what does it look like to make food? So Skyline Chili Greek pasta salad, that's fine. Breakfast enchiladas. I don't know if I want to wake up to Skyline Chili. Really don't. But I appreciate it. Chili con queso dip. Skyline cheese ball. That looks kind of fun. Pigs and blank. Okay, so this is pretty... Skyline Chili lasagna. I don't know.
Maybe.
Great Sweets Italy. I think maybe they should remain friends. Okay. Here's the closest they've gotten so far. Most of their recipes involve, hey, put our chili and cheese on something that you normally wouldn't. Skyline Chili Tots. Darn it. You son of a gun, I'm in.
Yeah, totally.
Skyline Chili Potato Skins. Perfect. Already should do that.
Yep.
Skyline Chili Pigs and Blankets. This one. And I think I get it. But this is the closest they're going to get to a breakfast dish. And this is as close as I ever want them to get to a breakfast dish. Skyline Chili Cornbread Waffles. Savory waffle.
I'm not sure I'm on board quite yet.
I'm going to have to try this.
But I would try it.
Because
I would try it.
They're like savory, like a chicken and waffles, but minus the syrup. Please minus the syrup on this one. Don't you dare put chili and syrup together. Cornbread mix. You put it in the waffle maker, and you top it with Skyline Chili and cheese. So it's a 2-way, but instead of spaghetti, it's a waffle.
Yep.
I see the vision. I see what you're trying to do. But Skyline, don't you dare move one iota further than this when it comes to your breakfast foods. You are I have warmed up to the day type eatery. I cannot wake up to you because I may not wake up again.
But
Thanks for listening.
That's the way to go.
Yes. But what a way to go, truly. Yeah. Dying doing what I loved. Eating a food that nobody else in the country likes.
Eating a food that you were told ahead of time, this will kill you.
Eating the food I was warned about.
Yeah, right. Yep. Well, that's a good way to end, Josh. Just amazing food. Action statement. Go combine a lot of your favorite foods together in a creative way and eat it and see what you find and see what you figure out. Maybe this time next year, your food will be featured at the Texas State Fair. You never know.
Oh.
Yeah.
There's no rules down here.
Right.
Yep. It's madness.
I'm going to go find some Raisin Canes and just combine it with whatever else I find. That can't be bad.
Can't be bad.
Cannot be bad. Yeah. That's what I'm going to do. We will be back next week. We've got another loaded college football week. Big movers in the SEC happening because we've got Alabama, we've got Vanderbilt, we've got a handful of other very meaningful games. We'll break it all down. We'll break down what happened in the wild card round in baseball. We'll get you up to date with the NFL because my Lions play Johnny's Bengals, so that will be a lot of fun. I'll actually be there, so I'm looking forward to that. Listeners, viewers, thanks for being here. I hope your week is going well. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you for supporting the show. You all are killing it in terms of support. I'll just put it that way. It's pretty insane. So keep it up. Thank you guys
all for downloading and listening to this.
Yeah.
Admittedly, very stupid show at times.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, thank you guys for that. And we will see you all next week. Have a good one.